Hey guys, LD here. So I know it's been a long time since we uploaded a video, but that's because we've been working on behind the scenes to bring you more content. Which is why I'm excited to announce that the development of the comic book project is still moving forward. Not only will it serve to place the setting of the story and expand the universe of the video game that we created, but it will also serve as the basis on how we release our trading card game and its future expansions. With every year that passes in the comic book and the Oblivion universe overall, new species of materials will be introduced and new cards will be revealed. In the last couple of years, or well, the last decade, the comic book genre has had notable exposure to mainstream media. Ever since big studios like DC Comics or Marvel popularized the genre, the public has garnered more interest in comic book related content. That's not to say that there hasn't been comic book adaptations in the past. For example, we had golden nuggets like Kick-Ass, Hellboy, Sin City, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and Kingsman: The Secret Service. And I gotta be honest with you, working on this project hasn't been easy. In some way or another, I was overwhelmed to say the least. Mainly due to the amount of drawings and work that had to be put into it. Just like me, I know that there are many struggling creators who want to develop a comic book, but don't know where to start. Which is why we created this series, to provide some details, notes, information, insights, and guidelines for anyone who wants to develop a project like this. Okay, for a little over 5 months now, we've been researching how to produce the art, manufacture the books, design the merchandise, and the prices that will be available in our Kickstarter campaign, as well as developing the logistics of shipping and delivery of our products to our backers. Now that we're getting into the development of the comic book, I want to clarify the structure of the comic book series. The series is divided in a set of 10 videos. In each of them, I will clarify the specifics of the processes needed to complete the comic. Additionally, to make things easier to digest, I added timestamps for you to jump between chapters. So, without any further ado, let's get right into it. To kick things off, first we need to cover the production process of a comic book. Creating a comic book can be a complex process, requiring a variety of skills and steps to bring the characters and the story to life. In each episode, we will go into detail of each and every part of the process, so we will briefly touch those 10 processes. Concept and planning. The first step is to develop the concept for the comic book. This includes developing the story, characters, themes, and overall tone of the book. Once the concept is established, it's important to create a detailed outline or script that outlines the plot, dialogue, and key story beats. The second step is scripting, which consists of the written story and dialogue of the comic book, often provided by the writer. The third step is character design. Once the script is complete, it's time to start designing the characters. This includes creating sketches and illustrations of the main characters and any supporting characters, as well as developing their personalities, motivations, and background. Our fourth step is penciling. With the script and the character designs in hand, the penciling process can begin. This involves sketching the basic layout and composition of each page, including panel placement and character positioning. The fifth step is inking. After the pencils are complete, it's time to start inking. This involves tracing over the pencil lines with ink to create the final artwork. Inking is a critical step in the comic book development process, as it helps to define the final line work and create contrast and depth in the artwork. Our sixth step is coloring. Once the inking is complete, the next step is to add color to the artwork. This can be done either by hand or digitally, and involves applying color to each panel and character in the comic book. The seventh step is lettering. After the artwork and coloring are complete, the next step is to add lettering and dialogue to the comic book. This includes designing speech bubbles, captions, and sound effects, as well as adding dialogue and narration to each panel. Our eighth step is editing and revisions. With the final artwork and lettering complete, it's important to review and revise the comic book to ensure that the story and artwork are consistent and cohesive. This may involve making changes to the script, revising artwork, or adjusting the pacing and the flow of the story. The ninth step is printing and publishing. Once the comic book is complete, the next step is to print and publish it. This may involve finding a publisher, self-publishing, or releasing the comic book digitally. Finally, the 10th step, commercialization and delivery. The last thing that you need to work is the distribution. Whether you choose to distribute your comic digitally or physically, you must find a way that best suits your readers' needs. This can go from finding physical distribution in stores like Books A Million and Barnes & Noble, to online distribution in sites like Amazon or Webtoons. Now that we have that covered, let's get into the first part of the process, which is concept and planning. Starting with the first step, we need to focus on establishing the setting of the story. To do this, we can use a simple technique called the 5 W's. Who, what, when, where, and why. Starting off with who, we basically want to understand the background of a character. And who are we following? For example, does it have a first name, last name, any nicknames? What about their date of birth, hairstyle, hair color, eye shape, maybe even something that makes them special like scars, birthmarks, tattoos, or mannerisms. We also want to understand their personality. This includes any catchphrases, traits, view of life, and any fears. What? What is happening in the story? What is their story? What are their motivations? What are the themes that we're going to follow as the story progresses? When? When does the story take place? Present day, ancient history, the future? It's important to place the story in a point in time. Where? Where is this taking place? At the school, a city, a country? Why? Why is this happening? Why are we following these characters? And here's our take. Who? We follow both humans and creatures called ethereals. Ethereals are creatures with a unique physiology, as these beasts are made out of energy who have the ability to transform into cards. Our main human characters are Lori, Ego, and Noah, while our main ethereal character is Blaze, a baby Kiparu, also known as Kip. What is happening? We follow these characters as both of their worlds collide in a coming-of-age story that touches themes like the well-known good versus evil, loyalty, betrayal, life and death, justice, family, power, and change versus tradition. When does this take place? The story takes place in 2012, but there will be time jumps and flashbacks to cover events from the past. Where does this take place? The events take place in the fictional city of Silver Hill City, also known as Silver Hill, and in an island called Terminus. And finally, possibly the most important question, why? We follow Lori and company as we discover the mysteries beyond Terminus and the dark fate that looms in the shadows. Although comic books are already established in mainstream media, it didn't hurt anybody clarifying some of the classifications of comic books. For example, limited series are comic book publications that are planned to run for a set number of issues. They are often used to explore a specific storyline or a character arc that is not part of the main series continuity. Miniseries are similar to limited series, but are even shorter, usually running for just a few issues. Webcomics are comic books that are published online. They can be read for free or for a fee, and are often created independently by the writer and artist. Manga are Japanese comic books that are read from right to left. They often feature distinctive art styles and storytelling techniques, and cover a wide range of genres and topics. Anthologies are collections of short comic book stories by multiple creators. They often explore a common theme or topic. Digests are smaller sized comic book publications that are easy to carry and read on the go. They often feature reprints of older stories or shorter, self-contained stories. Digital comics are comic books that are available for download or streaming on digital devices like smartphones and tablets. They often offer interactive features like guided reading and sound effects. Adaptations are comic book versions of existing properties like movies, TV shows, and novels. They often expand on or interpret the source material. Reprints are new printings of older comic book stories. They often feature updated artwork or coloring and are a great way for new readers to discover classic comics. Fan comics are comic books created by fans of existing properties or characters. They are often shared online and offer a unique perspective on popular franchises. Now that we have that covered, let's go ahead and talk about different formats. There are several different types of comic books, each with their own unique characteristics. And here are some of the most common types. Single issues are individual comic book publications that are typically released on a monthly or bi-monthly basis. They typically contain one chapter of a longer story arc and often end on a cliffhanger to encourage readers to purchase the next issue. Trade paperbacks, or trades, are collections of single issues that have been compiled into a single volume. They are typically released after a story arc has been completed and allow readers to catch up on a series without having to track down every individual issue. Graphic novels are longer form comic book publications that tell a complete story in a single volume. They can be standalone stories or part of a larger series and are often designed to be read in a single sitting. One-shots are standalone comic book issues that tell a complete story in a single publication. They are not part of a larger series or continuity and typically feature characters or events that are not explored in the main series. Annuals are special issues of a comic book series that are released once per year. They typically contain longer stories or special features and often feature guest writers or artists. Variants are special editions of a comic book that feature alternate covers or artwork. They are often released in limited quantities and are highly sought after by collectors. Crossovers are special events in which two or more comic book series are brought together in a single storyline. They are often used to introduce new characters or to explore larger story arcs that span multiple series. With all that said, let's go ahead and see how we decided to create our comic book. We decided to go with two formats in particular, single issues and trade paperbacks. Our goal is to provide our community with accessible forms of content through single issues. This will be available digitally for free through one of the following sources: official site, online and PDF, webtoons, and future comic book app. Plus, we may be looking into other formats of comic books, but we'll see what happens. Hey guys, I really hope that you enjoyed watching the first video of this series as much as I did creating it. I know that this first video was a little slow to get around, but in the upcoming videos the pacing will be a little bit faster, since we're gonna leave the details behind and focus more on the illustration of the comic book. Additionally, remember that our pre-launch page is live now, which means that for a limited time you can go ahead and click on the notify me button and get notified via email once the campaign goes live. Remember to check our social media, as we're gonna make some announcements and polls to make the community feel part of our family. With all that said, all I want to do is thank you for the support and for making this project a reality. So take care and until next time.